I'm Janie Bird, and I'm going to talk to you today about Somalia. By gathering facts about Somalia regarding its geography, people, government, economy, trade, currency, transportation, and communication, I will assess the probability of them becoming a viable trade partner. Somalia is located in the Horn of Africa and lies along the Gulf of Aden and the Indian Ocean. In size, Somalia is slightly smaller than Texas and consists of 246,199 square miles. The terrain consists mostly of highlands and plateaus and plains, except in the far north where the Karhar Mountains run east-west. The climate is rather hot and they experience 4 seasons. The people of Somalia are mostly Somali natives and speak the official language of Somali. Most are Sunni Muslims. The literacy rate in Somalia is only 24.1%. There is a free education system, but since it's not mandatory, most do not participate in it. Approximately 3/4 of the population lives in poverty, and the average income is $600 per year. There has been no official form of government in Somalia since the collapse of 1991 when President Siad Barre was overthrown. Somalia is currently operated under a federal transitional government. In a time of political unrest, it is hoped that the new Prime Minister can lead Somalia out of chaos and towards an effective, organized government. With the absence of formal government, transactions are somewhat easier and therefore lead to positive increases in private sector development. Although Somalia is open to foreign trade, conditions there are extremely unfavorable to encourage this kind of investment. Foreign trade will most likely remain minimal due to security issues, poor infrastructure, and the unavailability of a skilled workforce. Timing is of the utmost importance when developing a partnership. The first mover advantage would include the ability to secure demand and beat competitors to the punch. Another advantage would be that it builds sales volume earlier than later entrants. Disadvantages of this would include pioneering costs, including educating customers, and the initial cost of promoting and establishing products. The risk of changes in regulations is also another disadvantage. Given the current state of Somalia, an early entry into foreign trade would be favorable. A firm should definitely capitalize on the first mover advantage. However, I would be especially careful to enter slowly with the option of increasing trade as conditions improve. When considering the size of entry, one must be sure to examine all risks involved. If you enter quickly on a large scale, huge risks may be involved. Entering slower requires a lower level of risk. With Somalia having a history of civil unrest and political turmoil, it is very unlikely that entering into an attractive trade relationship with them would be very risky. I would definitely proceed slowly and gradually increase the trade relationship as feasible. After deciding to create partnership with Somalia, one must decide which entry mode to use. Choosing the appropriate entry mode requires an enormous amount of time and thought and consideration. The possible choices are licensing, franchising, exporting, turnkey projects, joint ventures, and wholly owned subsidiaries. I'll talk to you about licensing first. If we choose licensing, we would grant the right of our intangible property to Somalia for a predetermined period in exchange for a royalty fee. When partnering with Somalia, this entry mode would be attractive because of their political unrest. However, a disadvantage would be the lack of a strong, effective government. Next, I'll talk to you about franchising. Franchising is a very similar entry mode to licensing, but generally involves a longer commitment and stricter rules. Like licensing, the cost of setting up overseas operations are avoided. Due to the instability of Somalia, I would strive to choose an entry mode that would allow minimal commitment and fewer restrictions. Exporting. Although the cost of setting up manufacturing facilities in Somalia would be eliminated, the higher transportation costs, financing costs, and currency conversion problems would make this option less attractive. Somalia is located in the Horn of Africa and has accessible port cities, but has had recent reports of piracy in these coastal areas. Another disadvantage would be that many of the roadways in Somalia are not paved and are in poor quality, which would have a negative impact on goods reaching their destination in a timely manner. Another issue of concern is the lack of security and the general state of turmoil in Somalia. Somalia is open to exporting and importing, but they import more than they export. Their main exporting products are livestock and food products, such as bananas. Because of their lack of industry and skilled workforce, they must rely heavily on imports. Turnkey projects. This type of entry mode involves exporting processing technology to other countries and can result in significant economic return. The main advantages are the lack of long-term interest and the loss of a firm's competitive advantage from selling their technology. This would be an attractive option because it would result in maximum profits without long-term commitment with a country that has a volatile history. It would also offer training to the unskilled workforce in Somalia. Joint ventures. Joint ventures involve establishing a firm that is jointly owned by two or more firms that are otherwise independent firms. The advantages would include the firm's benefit of the knowledge of the host country's conditions, shared costs and risks, and the low risk of nationalization and government interference. However, there are huge risks involving losing control of the technology and subsidiaries and the possibility of conflict between the firms included in the joint venture. As far as Somalia is concerned, this would be a very attractive option. Wholly owned subsidiary. In this option, a firm owns 100% of a company's stock. There are two ways of setting up a wholly owned subsidiary. Setting up a new firm in the foreign country is known as a greenfield venture. The other option would be purchasing a firm that is already established in the foreign country. This option allows the firm to have better control over operations, reduces the risk of losing its technology, and results in 100% share of profits. The disadvantages include high costs and risks. This would be another attractive option for Somalia. A greenfield venture would probably be the best of the two, considering the low cost of labor and the unlikelihood of securing an already established firm in Somalia. In conclusion, choosing an entry mode for an international business merits careful consideration of many factors, including the risks and costs involved. You must look closely at the culture, economy, terrain, government, history, currency, and infrastructure. After examining the conditions, economy, and the culture of Somalia, I would be very hesitant to establish a trade partnership with them. However, if I choose to develop a trade relationship with Somalia, I would gradually enter by joint venture. By doing this, we would be able to reap the benefits of the host country's knowledge while minimizing our risks and maximizing our profits. If conditions in Somalia change for the better, I would explore the possibility of placing a wholly owned subsidiary in Somalia, specifically in the form of a greenfield venture. Thank you.